Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. It's me, Antonio, back with another video today for you guys. We'll be talking about one of the 7 universal principles today. We are going to be talking about the law of mentalism. So it's another one of it should be a basic principle that people are aware of. You know, everyone can do it. It is a universal law. Pretty much everything around us was generated through someone's thoughts. People were able to perceive different things with their mental prowess or their mental powers. Indeed, a lot of great things started with just a simple thought. You know, before you were an adult, you were a child. Before you were a child, you were a baby. And then before you were a baby, you were in another dimension, which would be your mother's womb. You know, and then even before then, you were just an egg or sperm. And even before then, you were just a thought that someone had, whether conscious or subconsciously. You know, people should know, everyone should know. Like 90% of people, 99% of people should know that when you have sex, you're going to create a child at some point. Yeah, definitely the law of mentalism is extremely powerful. I mean, it's basic. It's like having common sense. You can almost equate it to. It helps you structure things. Sort of like getting up in the morning, you can help prime your actions throughout the day by the thoughts that you have in the morning or the thoughts that you continue to have throughout the day. It helps you manifest new ideas. It helps you get inspired and find inspiration in everything around you, good or bad. You always want to learn something, even when you take L's. You want to see them as learning experiences or growing experiences, and you can build your mental library. Yeah, Libras, librarians. So yeah, man, it's all about what people can perceive around them, what people can think of. People are always able to solve issues, or sometimes you can even skip over the process of even just saying it. Once you have that thought or that vision in your head, you can just skip over even trying to explain it to people, and you can just go right into the doing portion of manifesting. So indeed, as long as you have that first piece of the puzzle, that plan A, you can skip over plan B, go to plan C, just shoot through the whole alphabet basically. And that's another thing that comes with the power of mentalism. People have to know how to use their letters and their words and their thoughts and things like that, because the things that you say and the things that you think and the things that you do actually affect people. It's weird. I've recently had people come to me and they was like, "Did you curse me?" And I was like, "What? No." Why would I do that? Why would I waste my time doing something like that to somebody? And then I realized, like, the things that they told me, I was like, wow, that actually happened. Like, I got into like a verbal dispute with someone that was close to me, and I literally told them to go to hell, go to jail, like all these different things. Of course, it was warranted. They got me extremely upset. So I said a bunch of things that I halfway meant at the time, and then spoke to them like a month later, and they literally spent the night in jail. They literally lost their job. They literally had a few, learning experiences and karmic cycles happen to them. So yeah, sometimes you have to be aware of your actual thoughts and the words that come out of your mouth. And the actions that you take towards these things as well, the intent that you put in them, because you never know how it can affect those around you. So it is indeed an interesting power. We were given these gifts for a reason. Dominion over animals, dominion over the land, Being able to use this vessel to channel divine messages and just divine power and things like that. We have to think about it that way. It was one point in history where people weren't even allowed to think. We already know that people weren't allowed to read in this country and have books and things like that. At some point in history, even overseas, even the aristocrats, there were even those amongst the aristocrats that couldn't even read. You had to be a high level of person, like a priest or something like that, or like some type of royalty, in order to be able to know how to, have different seers and astrologers come out, the Platos of those generations and whatnot, to go out and teach the royal families how to read and write. Use numbers, how to chart the stars, teach them philosophies and things like that, science. It's, the law of mentalism. It is alchemy. It is science. It is the actual application of splitting the atom. Again, science is somewhat similar to and explains religion, but people don't see it that way. People often have them battle each other, but indeed science does explain a lot of religious things, and religion explains a lot of scientific things as well. So if those two groups, those two minds can come together, they can definitely figure out a lot of things. The Big Bang was just basically the singularity splitting itself apart, which is the masculine and the feminine nature. And then, so on and so on, the minerals and the clashing and of planets hundreds and millions of times over, creating the stardust and creating the memories of the explosion and all the planets forming and each different type of life form on whatever different type of solar system. And, here we've been dealing with we've been dealing with amoebas for millions of years, evolved from a single cell organism to multicellular organism. We'll never be able to go back to those times. Technology is changing. A bunch of people. I mean, it's AI. It's the future that people was talking about. How technology was going to take over the world, where you have 1 billion people on one social media platform. That is the singularity. But we have to remember where we come from. We have to remember nature. We have to remember how to harness these things. But once we have all these technologies thinking for us, we'll no longer be able to learn. We'll just be lazy people relying on technology. That's what you don't want to do. Yeah. But that's all I wanted to talk to you guys about today. It was a few random stories, but I kind of wanted to gear you guys up for the 7 basic universal principles. These are laws and things that, of course, human tries to, like man tries to simulate gravity and things like that. There's even deeper laws and deeper types of quantum physics and all these different types of things that may seem spiritual. They're indeed miraculous. Yeah. How we look at genes under a microscope and they're actually vibrating on a certain level. But yeah, again, also this is just thought patterns, another level of mentalism. Some people are not able to think on these different levels. You can be you can be going toward a life of learning a lot of different things. And some people say that can hinder you from focusing on one thing and mastering one thing. They'll look at it in one way. Like you'll have someone that becomes the world's greatest thing, and no one will blame them for, or you'll have some people, and then you'll have someone else that takes a completely different route, and people will be like, just because that is something new that people never seen before, people will definitely have different expectations and different their own different thoughts, their own different feelings, you know uh, you know they're double standards for a reason. They're valid. They come from somewhere, right? In most situations. So people just have to keep an open mind, keep a clear channel, and try to learn something new every day that can give you a better perspective. You're building your mental muscle. You're building your mind, your brain power when you're learning something new every day. When you're keeping a clear channel, when you're seeking out knowledge, information, and applying it, wisdom and things like that. Sagittarius are good for that. They travel a lot. They involve themselves in a lot of doing. It's weird because it's like they're not like Leos where they want to be out in the open all the time and wanting to be the center of attention. They're out in the open trying to be themselves, and people are just attracted to them. So yeah, that's the Sage, man. Interesting people, or interesting energy to learn to develop within your birth chart, and see where that power lies. But yeah, man, we'll be getting into more of these laws. People are gonna be like, "What? I never heard of this before," or things that people should not be able to change. And people are constantly trying to figure out, ways to better themselves, and they just have to sit and thinking up a master plan. But yeah, more on the law of mentalism. I'll be speaking more about it in the future in upcoming posts and tarot readings and whatnot, to give you more insight on brain power. There's intelligence. You have to use your intelligence. You have what they would call your IQ, your intelligence quotient. You have your EQ, which is your emotional intelligence, and then you have your PQ, which is your physical intelligence. You have brains in all different parts of your body. You have a brain here, you have a brain in your heart. There was at one point in the history where the philosophers thought that that the heart ruled your thoughts. So you see, it's all in the perception. It's all in a different mind frame. Even your passions sometimes, which again comes from your heart, can rule your actions. But you have to be able to balance these things out with your heart. Ma'at, the Libra scale. There's visions of it on Virgo, Venus, Anubis. There's a scale, and on that scale of balance, on one end there is a heart, and on the other end there's a feather. And the whole concept is, how heavy is the heart? Because you can't enter into the pearly gates, or you can't enter into your full blessings until you have your heart is weighed on the scale, and your deeds, your good deeds outweigh your bad deeds. So you don't have a lot of things on your heart. It's not stone, it's not rock. Some scriptures would say the heart turns into stone. So if your heart is turned into stone, and you try to weigh it against a feather, what you think is going to happen? You'll never be able to live a fulfilling life. So you have to be well-rounded. Use your brain, use your heart. And your spirit, of course, you've been here, and your family's been here generations. So you have thousands of ancestors that are already with you. You just have to take the present moment and use the gifts that that have been granted to you, which is this human vessel. You're able to have your thoughts affect the world around you, affect the stars around you. So indeed, be perceptive. This video will reach the right people that it needs to reach at the right time. We're all on a journey. this whole dark night of the soul thing that I've been going through for the about 9 months now. It's gonna be like a personal it's like a personal journey of what happens when a person gets hit by lightning, the spiritual thunderbolt. But y'all guys be safe, have a good day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Love you, be safe.